Never mind. All right, I'm recording. So let's do some shout outs. I'll start us off. I don't know if you guys have been noticing, but there's a new tech section of the website. We talked about it, I think, last month. But Nibris and a few others have been chiming in on that. That's pretty cool. That you can get some direct help, WoW-related help, if you need it. So thanks for that, Nibris.
I have two. So one for Nover. I don't know if he's in here or not. For stepping in and being our priest with the most for some of our kills this week, and another one for Kendaria for being the flexible DK that he is, because he came in going, okay, I'm going to DPS, and we've had him tanking quite a bit. So we really appreciate the effort of both of those gentlemen.
Cool, thanks.
Shout out to Ascension for getting 5 of 10.
Shout out to your raid team, nice. I'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute, but huge shout out to Majestus and O-Team. If you looked at the guild bank, we actually have 1 million gold in there. I had this whole plan to raise gold that kind of fell flat on its face, but Majestus and O-Team donated, so at least we'll have a little bit of gold moving forward into the next year. So thanks to O-Team and Majestus for the donation. No other shout outs? Alright, well, I have a few.
Shout out to ID. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, nice, yep.
It's Zanari's birthday today.
Oh, yes, it is. Happy birthday, Sonari.
Singing
Thank
happy
you.
birthday. Everybody cue their mic and start singing happy birthday.
Oh God, no.
No, too many people.
I'm going into another channel. Screw that.
That'd be a little bit alarming. I was going to do a shout out to E-Team. They just have, and I'll do a little update, but even with the circumstances, they were able to transition a raider off for V-Team when they needed them. So the V-Team was sitting at 19 and they got to 20, and they've been making very solid progression on Gul'dan with that E-Team, former E-Team raider, because they're gonna keep that guy now. So thanks to E-Team for already giving back. And the last one I have, if no one else is going to do any shout-outs, Malvision for helping out E-Team with the transition. Once again, I'll update a little bit later on. But he was instrumental in helping that team keep its wheels turning while there's some upheaval. So I don't think he's here, but thanks to him for that. Any other shout-outs before we move on?
My apologies for being late, but on behalf of E-Team, besides just Mal, who was hugely impactful in helping our team, Zate, Hanti, Madge, Shinji, and everyone who came to help us while we were struggling, thank you.
All right, if there's no other shout-outs, I'll do the promotional things. Drive and a new one from Temporary Solution is a guild that merged with E-Team. Drive and a guy named Shaz are now co-team leading on an interim basis E-Team. So Shaz and Drive, what's his Drive Slinks or something like that, is the people you look to for E-Team direction. And then if you haven't caught wind of it, Z-Team is retiring, and they're going to keep going, kind of reform. There's certainly a little bit of a transition, but Age, he's going to be heading up. At least that's the way it looks. We're going to have a meeting Sunday night at 10, but he looks to be the new team lead of that new expedition, or reformed expedition. Are there any other promotions?
Yeah, I-Team has two. So we've got Cash, who is our healing lead, and Mistogen, who's our DPS lead now, because we had a couple of departures a couple weeks ago.
Cool. Congrats on those promotions. Any others? All right, so announcements. New tiers coming out on the 20th. So just like normal, it's going to be normal and heroic first, and then Mythic will open on the 27th. So make sure you're gearing up for that and preparing for that. I don't think there's any other major announcements, at least not that I can think of. No good. All right, moving on. By the way, this agenda is posted, so if you actually, could someone, while I'm not going to like stop talking to do this and leave awkward silence, but if someone wants to post the all guild meeting in the guild area so people can see it, there's an agenda we follow through. So following along with that, the next thing is the guild status update. Guild is doing well. Talking to leadership, there's still a lot of discussion with leaders, moving players around, supporting each other. We have leaders coming up with really creative ideas to support the community. We're getting new tools all the time to keep things stable and keep things going. As best I can tell right now, I mean, this is my guess. I don't know because they're not releasing subscription numbers anymore. But my guess is that from the start of this expansion to now, I'd say between 30 and 50% of the player base is gone. So a lot of guilds are being hit really hard. This is the first time in the last 2 expansions, this is the first time that during the downturn, so WoW's in boom and bust, right? There's times when everybody's got tons of apps and people coming in usually at the start of a tier, and then towards the end of a tier it's really tough. Every single tier for the last 2 expansions, at the end of a tier we've added a raid team because we have so many people coming in from a lot of times guilds that are breaking up that we have to start a new team to accommodate it. This is the first time we haven't done that. So I mean, we're getting hit by it too, and there's a lot of people that have roster struggles. But we've really come together as a community and we're weathering the storm, and that's what this guild's all about. It's big and we support each other, and so even though there are definitely some teams that don't have the progression they'd like to have, we are weathering the storm. We are sticking it out and doing well, and I anticipate that we'll continue to do that, and I'm hoping there's a little bit of a recruitment buff coming up here with new stuff coming out. The other thing I'd like to say is, and I'm not going to get into details, there have been some conflicts here and there between leaderships, between various entities in the community. And what I want to say is this: if you can think about the most meaningful relationships that you have in your life, I guarantee you those are the relationships that you've had conflict. If you have no conflict with someone, the depth of the relationship just isn't there. Like, that's how you get to know people, that's how you grow. So don't be scared of conflict. When we have conflict within the guild, I'm not like out to be like, oh, we can't have conflict, let's have this completely sterile environment. People need to voice their opinions and be able to express their emotions freely. However, you have to do it respectfully. And there's been a couple instances in the last month where there's been some conflict within the guild, within leadership specifically, and everybody handled themselves really respectfully. And even though there's clearly difference of opinions and ideas and thoughts, in a situation that could tear communities apart and be really detrimental, it was just cool to see people handle themselves respectfully. And then of course there was conversations that happened afterwards, and as far as I know, everything's been resolved. But I just want to encourage you guys, like, don't be afraid of conflict. Just make sure that when you have a different opinion from someone else, you're willing to actually listen. And then when you're sharing your portion of your opinion, make sure you're doing that respectfully, and that you're not doing personal attacks and stuff like that. So just overall, guild is doing healthy, and I think that we're going to be heading into this next tier pretty strong. We're looking to have at least 5 teams that clear content this tier, and hopefully we'll have maybe 6 or 7 next year. Who knows? That's it for guild status. Majestus, recruitment.
So for recruitment, we of course, want to have everybody go out there and say, hey, EK's the place to come, come visit us, check out our website. But I want to actually say, thank you to every one of you. I've been watching apps coming in lately. A lot of people have been saying, hey, I saw this on somebody's stream and want to come check it out, like what I saw. Or I was in Taro's, Moose runs from previous, during HSC. Or, I ran with a group of your members in a Mythic Plus and found I really enjoyed them, so I came to check out your guild and found a place, that I want to come. So I want to thank you for everybody for that. Also, just a reminder that we do have a Heroic to Mythic move spreadsheet available for team leads to look at. But if you're a Heroic player and you want to go to a Mythic team, get with your Heroic team lead and let them know, hey, this is something I want to move into, so that we can get you on that spreadsheet. Then it's kind of like, since you already apt to a Heroic team, it's just kind of a way to get you in a little bit faster to maybe a Mythic team. We'll put you on that spreadsheet with your availability, and then we'll have the team leads can go in and look, see if there's anybody available for them on their time. So Again, if you're a hard player, that's a great way to go up. So if you want to move into something of a more meaning. Other than that, that's about it for recruitment at this point.
Cool. Thanks, Majestus. Guild sponsorship program.
We actually had quite a few people sponsoring this month. A little bit down from last month, but still, pretty high numbers. A number of people again coming in casually, as well as potentially moving into teams, whether they be a heroic team or a mythic team, which is really cool. I do apologize. It's been taking a little bit of time to get people through. There's only myself running this at the moment, as the other two people are having some real life events. So do be patient with me. And make sure that if you are going to be sponsoring somebody, that they have their Greenwall apps set up, and that you keep in touch with them, and that they get in touch with me as well.
So Belle, I know, should be back hopefully soon here. She sent me a PM. She's moved to Texas successfully and gets internet, I think, on the 8th, she told me. So next guild meeting, hopefully I'll be hearing an update from her. But in the meantime, Alessandra is your contact person. Can you put your real ID in Guild General, just so people, do you need more people doing sponsorships, or how are you there? Because if you don't know, the only way for someone to get into the guild, if they're not being trialed by a raid team, is to have a person that's full member on a raid team sponsor them. And there's I'm not going to get into it. There's like a post that tells you like what you're going to do and stuff. But it is kind of like, you're talking about Greenwall, and hey, there's a calendar where you can sign up to stuff, and just making sure they kind of understand the culture and atmosphere. But how are you doing with sponsors? Like, do you have enough of them right now?
As of right now, most people coming in have a sponsor. There were a few people in the past that did not, and there's actually somebody that I'm going to be talking to here in a little bit about a sponsor, because there are quite a few people that may not be eligible to be a sponsor. You must be a Grand Army rank or higher, and you can't be currently sponsoring somebody. There are a few exceptions to that rule, family and things like that, but for the most part, you do need to be a Grand Army, and you can't currently be sponsoring somebody. So that having been in mind, if you do have a friend that you want to get into the guild, I'm assuming you probably have other friends in the guild. Maybe one of them can help you. But I do have one person who has signed up to help out with that exact situation, should I have need for him.
Cool. So, I mean, if you have any questions about it, contact Alessandra. But make sure, you're aware. Also, if people just come to Militia, like one of the open runs, if they come for a month, they can get invited to the guild that way. They just have to have an app up. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, so next is me, guild finances. One of the things I was really hoping to get to this week was some internet forum stuffs, but didn't happen because just other things I was a busy month for me. But one of the biggest needs that we have right now is to have a banker. I'm going to make a forum post, and I'm going to be talking with Shinji. Oh, actually, I don't think I announced him at the last meeting, but Shinji is our new director of media, who you can see is going to talk right after me. But it was Serenity, but Serenity, he's got quite a few responsibilities in real life and just wasn't able to make the time commitment. So Shinji's taking over for him, and he'll fill you in on all the goodness there. Sorry I didn't mention you earlier there, Shinji. Where's Hanti at? Hanti should have been here yelling at me for not doing that.
I'm here, but I was late. I'm sorry I was late.
How dare you be late? I need someone to keep me in line here. I was joking. Mostly joking. You do have to keep me in line. That part I wasn't joking about.
Their angry emails will follow this meeting, Zate.
Excellent. I'll be looking forward to those.
Okay, there you go.
But anyway.
I think I have templates for you, Hunter.
What's that?
An angry
So
email
I think I have
template?
templates for that.
Oh, Lord. All right. So anyway, one of the big things that I'm going to be doing is working with the different areas, like you see the reports, right? So like Majestus, Alessandra, Shinji, Inri, and we'll have like help wanted postings for anything. Like, it's always been the case from the day I started this guild till now, the thing that is the most limiting factor in the community is competent, committed leadership that will fill a need wherever that need is. And so making everybody kind of aware of the various aspects of the guild that could really use some help, that is going to be a post that will hopefully be coming up soon. I don't know if we'll global stick it or not, but hopefully you'll see that by the end of by the next meeting we have. We'll have that. But right now, sorry, it's a little bit off track. This is not finances, but what I'm trying to say is, on that post, like, we're gonna have a very top thing that says high need, and right now the high need is for finances. I really want to find someone that can run like a GDKP run or figure out other ways. Like, we have so many people. If someone was going to spearhead and organize something to raise gold for the guild bank, I don't think we'd have any problem hitting 10 million gold every tier and having quite a bit of, and maybe even doing it indefinitely where we have 500 gold repairs for everybody across the board. But it is going to take somebody organizing and etc. I have ideas on how to do that. It's just time, and I do not have the time and the availability to make some of that stuff happen. So, if you're good with money, if you've been around for a while, if you know that we can trust you, we know that we can trust you, would really be interested in talking to someone about helping organize some guild financial stuff. Next, Shinji and our new royal emissary for the media.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Shin.
Hey, House.
Hi, Shinji.
Oh, hey, Bellissima. Anyways, just starting off with the night, kind of just going to jump right into this. The social media is pretty much like the public presence of the guild. So, a little worried being, heading that kind of stuff up. Right now, we're doing a lot of behind-the-scenes meetings. Some of the fruit of that labor, you can see like in the Discord, some little changes to the website here and there. But we need more people to bounce ideas with. So if you have like a passion for doing artsy stuff, if you have a passion for doing anything like social media related, may it be like YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, or anything of the sort, then please send me a message in Discord. Let me know that you're interested. Set up a time, grab a cup of coffee, and let's sit down and let's talk about ways that we can try to utilize you in this stuff that we're trying to set up in the guild. Other than that, I'm hosting 2 open meetings next week. One of them is going to be next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but next week Saturday from 7 to 9. Just in case any of you have a hard time during the week to set up with like raid schedules. And then the other one is Tuesday from 6 to 8. So if you guys all want, it's going to be like an open forum. I'll be available in Discord, just sitting there, hopefully not too lonely by myself, to answer any questions that you guys may have. Any questions you may have about like coming in to help or volunteering your time. Other than that, I hope I do an okay job. And if you guys ever see anything wrong, let me know. Thanks.
2 things. One, Shinji, can we make sure we get those meeting times put in the All Guild message of the day, like just a little bit of blurb about them, and well, I mean, maybe not now, but like a day or 2 before. Well, I'd say at least 48 hours before, because I know that there's a lot of people that aren't here that if they saw that, they might be interested. And the second thing is, Shinji, he's not necessarily going to be doing all this stuff. He's certainly going to be the guy that's going to kind of be like organizing it. Like, he's going to kind of be like a team lead would be, and like, set different groups up to do different things. So if you're worried about what level of commitment you need to make, whether you're like, well, I might be able to commit just like a little bit one time, like just talk to Shinji. Maybe he's just going to have you design like one graphic for one team for us or something, and then you don't have to ever do anything again. Or if you want to get more involved, you can. Just if you have any inkling and just want to like just kind of get your feet wet, talk to him. Don't be afraid. He's very approachable. Next, I don't think Enri's here. She was out tonight. Is Enri her number 2 available?
Leia is.
She posted out, I think. Yeah, that both of them are gonna be out.
So, no worries. The guild events, you can see she made a really, really great informative post. So if you ever are kind of like wondering what all is going on in the guild, check that post out. There's a direct link to it in the agenda minutes, or the agenda. And I'm not going to go into all of it. There's a lot that's in there, and I know she's looking to do more. I can tell you right now, because there's so many teams pushing for end of tier clears, cutting edge, we aren't going to be doing, and we normally do some sort of pretty big fun end of tier event, but we're going to skip that this tier just because we don't want to put pressure on anyone not to be able to raid. And it'd be kind of fun not to be able to partake in an all guild event. So it's just, I don't know, this tier seemed to happen kind of quick. So we're probably not going to do much. If we are, it's going to be something a little bit smaller maybe. But the stuff that's going on a regular basis, you can find it in that guild events thread. I'll highlight just one thing, and that's the Herald of the Titans. That's like a really cool thing. If you don't know what that is, it's where you level up to 80 and you clear things at level 80, and you can't, be level 81 or have gear that's not the right eye level or whatever. So if you're interested in that, it's one of those achievements that very few people have, but it's a lot of. Is anyone here that's actually been in the group that's done it that can speak?
Yes.
How would you if in a few sentences, how would you explain how it went, or give it like a sales pitch to someone?
If you have a level 80 character that's got some gear, come do it. It's fun. We did about 6 pulls last time. Everyone who's there right now, most of us who have done it before or have pulls on it, and you get a title.
So it's a pretty cool, fun thing that happens. Does it happen weekly?
She was trying to do it like bi-weekly, to my knowledge, right now, because we did the 2 back-to-back ones, and then it was 1 week off, and then I think we're doing one coming up.
So anyway, get a hold of Henry if you want to get involved with that stuff, and just in general, check the thread out. The other thing to be aware of is there's a
You
guild
have to
calendar.
be tagged for it though, so if anyone wants to, they can ping me and I can tag them for it.
So, and that's Noct. You can see her talking there in Discord. Just right click and open a PM with her if you want. The other thing, make sure you're checking the calendar. There's always stuff going on in the calendar. She's really good about putting the events in the calendar. So that's one of those things that, make sure people know about it. Like if you see something cool, feel free to tell somebody else if you can't make it. All right. With that, let's go ahead and move to the discussion items. Have a very exciting presentation here from Orth. So I won't spoil it all. I'll let Orth tell you guys all about it. Is he here?
Oh no.
He's
I don't
not.
know.
I told him to be here.
Well, let's see.
Worth is on. It just says he can't talk.
Oh. Why can't he talk? I didn't mute the channel.
Maybe he doesn't have push to talk enabled.
I heard somebody talk really loud.
His is
They-
still muted.
He's not
They
muted.
said maybe he has push to talk, but not enabled.
I'm whispering him.
I was about to say that's quite the build up and then quite the letdown.
I know, right? All right, we'll move on to the next thing. I'm sure he'll come back and wow us in a minute. The transitioning, like what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of help everybody in terms of directing traffic. There's a lot of people here, and one of the things that we're trying to do is manage expectations and help people kind of find a place that fits for them and all that. So one of the things that we'll continue to push for, and I'm not putting dates and times on this yet, I'm just going to continually bring this up at meetings and let people know, because when we do this, it's going to be upsetting to some people, I'm sure, but basically EK is for rating members of the community. So if you're in a heroic team, if you're on a mythic team, EK, that's the guild you should be in. ENK is for non-rating members. So people that are going to do Herald of the Titans or old content or retired raiders, you need to move to ENK. EK, after 4 months, you're going to get removed. If you're not online after 4 months active, we have someone going through looking and removing you. Each team can tag up to 40 people. So if your team leaves you tagged, then you could be on for longer than 4 months. But after 40, again, we'll start going through and removing people that have been offline the longest. So if you're going to retire from raiding and you still want to be part of the community, please talk to your team leader or leadership or whatever and just get moved over to ENK. There's plenty of space over there, and this isn't like we want to like kick people out. This is just a simple like we're going to run out of spaces again. Like this was a huge problem for us where we're constantly having to kick people and we weren't sure what to do with it. So to try to make sure that we have things set up and have it manageable, even though it is manageable now, like as we continue to grow, it'll become less manageable. So please, if you're going to retire from raiding, move over to ENK. Also, anyone that's in EK, this will progress, obviously, will be a raider. So if you want to like find a Mythic Plus person or something, you can pull up and see their team. That's another thing that people were kind of complaining about, is like someone's advertising for Mythic Plus and you had no idea what raid team they're on or what kind of progression they had or anything like that. So now you can, with a lot less effort, do some research in that. So again, don't have a timeline on that, but at some point in time, what will happen is all these citizen members will be removed from EK, and they'll have to move to ENK, or they'll just be gone. But we don't, like I said, have a hard time frame on that. All right. Oh, or Orth, are you back? Are you able to talk? Any word, Hanti?
No word. He's not responding to my tells either.
All right. Well, we'll keep going on, and if he doesn't come back by the end, I'll have you
Spill the beans for him.
I'll have Hanti spill the beans for him.
Okay.
E-team update. Are Shaz or Drive here? Either one. All right. So I'll give the E-team update.
Shaz is in here.
Oh yeah,
He's not here.
Shaz is here. Yeah.
Shazar, has he got himself muted?
Nope.
No, is he just AFK maybe?
Everybody comes to the meetings and AFKs. It's all right. They're recording. I'll be embarrassed. So E-team, there was some issues with E-team. They were ongoing. I'd been working with leadership on E-team for a few months. Instead of things getting better, I had the team lead and second. I'm not going to get into all the stuff that was going on just because there's no need. Just to suffice to say, there's problems. Because there was problems, basically the team lead wasn't showing up for various reasons. And so I started to look around to see if we could find a potential new team lead, and was kind of like putting some things into place, and was going to go talk to the current team lead, which is Gravity. He got wind of this, felt betrayed, and left the guild. And so we are then working with some new leadership. We had a guild called something Temporary also move over and merge with E-team, so they are going again. They will probably be rebranded. They have a thread up right now, so if you see like the Eidolon name disappear and a new name appear on the forums and on Discord, that's going on with that team. They're going to, I think next year, they're obviously making some adjustments. I think they want to try to push towards cutting edge, but that'll be up to them and how hard they want to replace and push their roster and whatnot. Things are still in a little bit of a temporary place, and at some point in the future we'll probably announce like a permanent team lead, but right now it's just there's a co-team lead. And then Shaz, if you're back, you can share anything you want to about where you guys are at, or if you're recruiting anything specific. No. Okay, moving along then. And Age is here too. I saw him. He's easy to see because he's at the very top. But Z-Team, and I'll say a few things here. I asked Mal if he wanted to share anything, but he shared some really good, insightful stuff with Z-Team. But just basically along the lines of, push yourself, never look back kind of thing, try new things, take risks. It's all about, like life's going to be dull if you don't take some risks. But Z-Team is retiring. I like to think of it as a graduation thing. I am a teacher, so I just had graduation and was trying to share like a sentimental graduation thing when I was talking to Z-Team. I don't think I made the connection quite as well as I wanted, but it's more about like people are going to move on to do different things in life, right? Whether it's going to be continuing to raid at a higher level, not raid at all. But when you move on, this community is going to be here, and if you want to come back, it'll be here. If you don't, hopefully we made a positive impact and we're making the world a better place, whether we see you every day or not. So there's going to be people that are going to be moving on from Z-Team, but Z-Team is going to still be here. We have a meeting Sunday night, and this is what I'd say and get the word out for anyone that's interested. There's going to be a lot of open slots probably, there's going to be a lot of trial spots. We do have another group coming over, but they're not going to be here right away. So the plan is to basically come up with a new name on Sunday, and then we will tag everyone that wants to be on the new team or the reformed team or whatever with the new name, and then the Z-Team tag will be around for a while, and we'll eventually move those guys to Citizen if they don't either retag themselves to the new team or app to other teams. But a little bit up in the air, so I don't know how many spots they'll have available, but if you know someone that's looking to get into a team, like obviously they're 10 and 10 Mythic and they're going to continue to try to get as far in as they can. I don't know if they'll continue to clear, but if you know people that are looking to get in and there's not openings on a team right now, they could certainly hit up Age and talk to him about what the team needs. So with that, Age, do you have anything you want to share about Z-Team and whatever the new team will be, but we'll continue to call it Z-Team for now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can just say about the roster a bit. Right now for the roster, we're mainly looking for ranged, it looks like. Apart from that, Z Team's just going to keep on being Z Team. We're going to have a little different style, a little different flair. We're going to go into boss fights knowing a bit more about the fights, but we might not do things like the fancy screenshots that you like new Z4 and the amazing kill videos. It's just going to be a different take, like new team, got some new style, new views kind of on rating and stuff. So that's where Z's going. It's going in a good direction.
Do you know, like, can you give us any class role specific things that you know you're gonna be looking for right out of the gate?
Yeah, definitely going to be looking for warlocks. I think I'm looking for one more mage for sure. That's the main things. Apart from that, literally any range is cool with me, and possibly a healer spot for Resto Shaman or Holy Paladin in particular.
Cool. And like I said, we want to keep that team going and keep them going with as much momentum as possible. So if you are asked by your team leader to see a posting and you have an alt or something that can help them make sure they're continuing to get into Mythic, we do have some plans where there's another guild that's going to come over. I think that's like kind of like a 90% sure thing at this point. Still working out details. But actually, Eric, are you in here?
I am, sir.
If you want to say a quick few things, feel free.
Sure. Evening, folks. Got a group of friends that have been playing together for a while, clearing content, and in happenstance, we just found you guys. Amazing community you guys seem to have here, and very excited. We're Horde side right now, transferring over to Alliance again. We used to be Alliance before, but coming from a server that's quite a bit dead in Thunderhorn. So looking forward to bringing our family into your family, and continue to clear content.
Cool. So they'll be joining us soon-ish here, and that'll be part of the Z Team reboot. Like I said, you'll see a new, just like E Team will be renamed, Z Team will be renamed. So we're not adding any team, like I said, first time since 2 expansions that we're not adding a team, but we are going to rebrand 2 teams.
No offense to anyone we've added.
Hanti doesn't like when I add teams.
Well, I like us to be able to ably serve everyone with the resources we have. So.
Yeah. My wife doesn't like when we add teams either. Every time I add a team, there's a spot in my head that turns gray. Gray hair. I don't know. I thought it was funny. My wife's looking at me funny.
Is that
all right.
your brains are sticking out of your ears, or? Gray man, never mind. Never mind.
I'm like 35, 36, and I have a bunch of gray hair because of stressful situations in life. Maybe, I don't know. Or I just.
Wait, you're not sure your age?
That's what I was gonna say. Did you just say I'm 35, 36?
Numbers, it gets blurry. It's all like after 21, who cares, right? It's like whatever.
It's all those kids you guys need.
Yeah, a couple kids later, yeah, it's
Like I
life.
said, did you lose some gray matter out your ears there, Zaid?
No, because he's so old, the gray hair coming out of his ears caught it. He's okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. Let's try to get this train back on the tracks here. Discord update, Shinji.
There isn't too much on Discord update. I mean, at this point, most of you have seen some of the aesthetics things we've done to it. We're gonna start toying around in our meeting this weekend that we have for Discord about possibly adding some new features. Z-Boot was looking at having something that will give you guys an announcement or an idea of what's going on, like event-wise in the guild, and it'll be kind of pinned in Discord, and then it'll take you directly to the website. So that's something he was coming up with an idea for today that we're talking about possibly implementing. I'm assuming a lot of you guys also are in other Discord communities. If you guys see something that you like, feel free to shoot one of the moderators or myself a little suggestion box message, and we'll see if we can implement it for you on this Discord as well. So yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Shinji. I know that there's a lot of things, there's things that you can't do that you want to do with Discord too. I mean, it's still a fairly neutral one, but you guys have any ideas on how to make Discord better, feel free to hit up Shin and share those ideas with him. But always looking to improve our communication and our structure. Like I said, that directing traffic thing, because it is a big community and people coming in. There's a lot of, it's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's hard for you to empathize because you've been here a while, but most guilds, they have like one raid team, and so there's not a whole lot of options, other than pugging. And we have a lot of things that could kind of confuse people coming in terms of where to go and what to do. So if you've experienced anything where you're like, hey, this would make my life easier if things were organized this way, make sure you're sharing that with Shinji or me or whoever else. But again, thank you, Shinji, for trying to add a little bit of clarity to some of the Discord channels to make them easier to navigate.
Anytime.
The next thing is something that Madge came up with. Like I said at the beginning of the meeting, we've got some new tools to help people and keep our team's rating strong. There is a spreadsheet. However, the agenda, I did not link the spreadsheet directly onto that agenda just because it has info that I don't want out there to be necessarily public, because there are certainly people that know who we are that would see that list and actually try to use it who aren't in the guild. So I didn't put it out there for public use. However, after this meeting, if you could, Majestus, put this somewhere and sticky it like in the guild info section so people can use it, but it's not going to be linked out to the public. Although, I mean, you guys could share it out to the public. I mean, it's not going to be top secret, but I don't want to have it in like a public thread. So that's why it's not there. But anyway, go ahead, Majestus.
It is actually linked in a guild section. It's in guild events. Thanks to Henry, it's pinned in that Discord channel. It's also, of course, in guild general, I think, on the website, stickied in there. The Mythic Helper spreadsheet, it's more or less for people that have alts or are not on a raid team anymore, but just because maybe they couldn't commit to a time or of the raid teams, or just nothing, it just not working out for them, or they can't commit to the 3 or 4 days a week, whatever. But you still want to be able to help out maybe a day or so here and there. So the Mythic Helper spreadsheet is available for you to put your information in. There is range, tanks, heals, which amazing the amount of heals to have put their information on there. So the biggest thing is as you get gear or get experience, make sure you update that, or if your availability changes as well, make sure you keep that updated. I want to say thank you to those that have already put their information on there, but it is definitely pinned into the guild events. It has also been now pinned into each team channel, so that team leads can have easy access to look up if they need somebody for the night. So other than that, yeah.
Cool, thanks.
We used it this week. It was awesome.
Yeah, and we definitely, I mean, if you go look at it, there's a lot of people signed up, and there's a lot of people that even, obviously you can't get your main locked, right? Because you got to keep your main available for your current Mythic team if you're on one. But there's a lot of people that have alts. Like, even if your alt's not mega geared, it's going to be better than getting some random person at a trade, most likely, because you're going to know their fights and stuff like that. So please feel free to put alts on there for times that you know that you're able to get on. And this isn't like a commitment, right? This is just like, I know that if someone texted me at this time, I can totally, we have Discord on your phone, right? If someone sent me a message at this time, like, I totally get on and help for a day or whatever, right? So would love to see that fill up. And again, that's like, this is what makes this community special, right? Where you have something like this, where if there are, I know there's multiple teams that had 5 to 6 people post out this week. That's pretty brutal. Like, any team's gonna have a pretty hard time keeping things going when you got 5 and 6 people posting out. But in a community like this, hey, we got a lot of resources, and as long as we're using them effectively and sharing them well, it's not a big deal. And then it does a couple things, right? It keeps people rating, and it also makes it so that if there's people that are doing that on a consistent basis, you can replace them a little bit easier if they're going to be posting out. So thanks for that idea, Majestus, and encourage, if you're in here and you're a team lead or any sort of leadership, I'd really encourage you to have your raiders, if they can, sign up on this. And obviously, if you're just listening, you yourself consider if you have an alt or something that would be able to do it. And then actually not last, we'll see if Orth is back, but the trainers...
Orth won't be back, but I'll speak for him when it's time.
All right, so the trainers spreadsheet, this is another cool idea that is, I'm going to steal your thunder, man. I'm going to shut up. I announced it in the,
Just do it.
I announced it last week to a few people, and then it was totally like gave away more details on it than I should. So I'll let you talk.
So I posted it in the forums, and it is pinned in general. There is a EK Trainer spreadsheet now for people who are looking for some one-on-one help with their particular class and spec. I know a lot of people recently have been talking about trying to transition onto Mythic teams and not quite having the DPS or not quite knowing what it is that they're not doing within their spec that's keeping them from hitting the numbers some other people are. Also gear questions and things like that. So it just seemed to me to be convenient for having somebody to go talk to, because I, for one, know going to Skyhold to talk about warrior information is not always the greatest thing, even though they tend to have the best information. It's very complicated, and a lot of times they talk over you. They make assumptions that you know previous conversations. So I know it can get a bit confusing. Even going to a class website like the Mage website, Alter Time, can get a little bit confusing because you're dealing with conversations that have been going on and yada, yada, yada. The idea being is that a lot of us learn better just by seeing, doing, or having somebody say, hey, do this or try it this way. So the trainer spreadsheet is just that. It's a resource for anybody who's looking to jump a little in their ability to go pick the brain of somebody who's already performing at that level. So far, we've gotten a lot of great response from people willing to step up and be that trainer for a particular class. Some of them have more than one. A few of them we're still looking for people. So if you're out there and you want to do it and you feel like you're performing at a level in that class and spec, please send me a tell or message. I'll get you added to the sheet. Otherwise, how people would like to be contacted is how they're listed on the sheet. Bold names are game names, and the parentheses next to them are real IDs. The other names in the non-bold are Discord IDs. So please make sure you contact people how they want, and hopefully, that'll work out for people.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you've had this happen, but I've had it happen, on almost like a weekly basis. Someone's contacting me saying, hey, who should I talk to about this class, this spec? And I'm like, go talk to someone on S or Z or whatever, sometimes I'll know, but if you know that, and if you're parsing gray and green, like looking for people that really love to theory craft, and they don't just have the knowledge in their head, right? They actually have parses, and they would be able to talk to someone. So if you feel like that's you, make sure, even if there's already 2 or 3 people signed up for that, your specific class and spec or whatever, still talk to Hal, still go on the sheet, because who knows who it's going to be that they're going to have, on when they can talk to someone. Because a lot of times they want people right away, right? They don't want to have to wait and try to find people over and over again. So, and then of course, make sure you're using it. Like, if you got a question, if it's an alt, whatever, or your main, like for me, I should definitely talk to someone because I have horrible parses. It's like I'm distracted half the time or something. But at some point, if I raid again, I would definitely be using this. So would really encourage people to use it. It's a super useful tool, especially for people coming into that are like the casuals, right? Like even people that aren't necessarily on a raid team. Like, we want them to be able to play at a good level, right? A high level in terms of, hey, if they can only raid or play 2 hours a week. So make sure you're sharing this information with people. Like, if you see someone asking in guild chat, like, hey, what do I do for this? Instead of, and this is unfortunate, but sometimes we have people that give snarky answers to that because they're like, oh, just go Google it or whatever. Well, yeah, or, they want to be part of a community that's going to be helpful and supportive, and I understand that Google exists too, but this would be, instead of a snarky go Google it answer, this would be a great thing to say, hey, we got a spreadsheet for that, and sharing this would be, I think, helpful, and that way, instead of blowing somebody off, or you could blow them off in the nicest way possible, I guess, because just telling someone to go Google something isn't very endearing. So thanks to Majestus and to House for getting these 2 spreadsheets that are hopefully going to grow and expand and be used to an increasing extent. And the last thing we have for tonight, since Orth is not here, Haunty, can you give us the rundown on what he's got going?
Sure thing. Unfortunately, Orth had a real life issue that took his attention away from the meeting, so he's not able to be here. But I just wanted to share with you all something that he accomplished recently. He had been going to the Wowhead website and noticed that the information on the mythic Gul'dan encounter, the mythic portion of the Gul'dan encounter, was pretty thin. So he ended up being the person to write the Mythic Gul'dan encounter and fill it out and correct some of the information, some of the sparse information that had been there. So now when you go there, you will see.
Can you actually link it? Does anyone? get
Yeah,
it up?
I'm going to link it. Let me throw that up. Un momento, por favor. Navigating our Discord sometimes takes me a minute.
Get on that and fix it, Shinji.
I don't think you can.
No,
We
I
have
think
too
it's.
many-
I think it's more. I think it's more.
User
a,
error.
It's a Hante problem, not a Shinji problem.
Isn't it always a haunted problem?
Wow, Legion, thanks, man. So there's the link to the Gul'dan guide, and you can see down at the Mythic section, it credits Ortholomus of Sellswords from Eternal Kingdom Bradmore. So yay, Orth, good job. We're very proud of him. It's awesome he gets to do this. So
Hype. So that's pretty cool.
high five him if you see him. Thanks everybody. That's all.
So hopefully that's something we can continue to have an impact on the greater WoW community. And that's all we have for the scheduled things. Once again, thank you for being here. We have had some various talks about moving meetings, but for the time being, this is where it's going to be. And if you have anything you want to add or talk about, make sure you're talking to me before the meeting. Otherwise, channel it through, leadership in the appropriate spot. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording right now.